What's up everyone, welcome back to a new best of 3. Today we have in the bottom right spawning as the Blue Zerk, a guy that some of you might still remember and some of you might never heard of, but is Leenock. Leenock is a little bit of a backstory obviously, because a player who once won an MLG back in the day, and 2012 I want to say, something like that, and he's one of the best players of the first half of StarCraft 2, right? Top 15, top 20, something like that. He's not going to be a top 10 player, but he definitely had good performances. He was a guy that was very scary to play against because he was known for what back then were called pressure builds, and right now we would just call them cheese or all-ins, because this guy loved the Bane bust people. I'm kind of curious if that still remains. He went to military service and then came back. Still only 26, relatively young. Good set of mechanics. I think he has a very... it's Lucera who has the very famous video with the quick fingers. But Leenock definitely is a character that I think a lot of the old guys that play StarCraft from the start will know. And if not, then you're in luck. You're going to get introduced to a playstyle that usually revolves around heavy Ling Bane usage and lots of run-bys, lots of attacks, lots of pressure, I guess. Almost forgot to introduce the other guy on the other side. It's going to be Percival. He's the opposite of Leenock. He's I don't want to call him a newcomer because he's been around for a long time, but he's recently been making a bit of a splash. I think he qualified for Code A. He's been showing up in these Oli Mol leagues, and yeah, I'm just happy to see some new Korean or some new blood in Korea. And it's not an easy scene to break into, but Percival definitely managed to do it. So I believe he's part of Team NV, right? Yeah. Team NV is a really cool team. There's some really strong players. SOS, Maru, Percival, DRG, Creator. I'm missing a very big one right now. I can't quite remember who I'm... Bunny. I have Bunny as well. Bunny I'm a big fan of course. Mr. Aggression himself. A little bit of Reaper Micro coming out of Percival here. He's not going to be able to pick off a Ling. Happens to the best. I'm never capable of picking off a Ling either, so me and Percival are actually the same. We have a third CC coming down, just your standard triple CC, no second gas. Very, very standard opener, especially on a map like Romanticide, where the rush distance is so large that it becomes very tricky to push or to attack as a Zerg player. So we're not seeing that so far. Ooh, it's over. I love that. I'm just curious to see if Leenock's playstyle changed at all, you know? These guys come back from like the military, and I want to see like, hey, do they adapt or do they, you know, stay true to their old selves? Honestly, I think staying true to your old self is pretty cool, but also pretty useless because the game just evolved a bunch, you know, like you can't just keep playing the same forever. You need to evolve with the game, and I don't think Leenock is too stubborn when it comes to that. I'd be very surprised if we see him go a 50 drone Ling Bane flood or something like that, which is something you might expect from him. If you think back of the games that we've seen him play. Now it doesn't mean that he doesn't have his preference, of course. He might still prefer playing Ling Bane over some of the newer Roach stuff that, for example, Rogue and Dark have been playing, but he's a smart player. He's a tournament winner. He knows what it takes to win. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he decides to do. Alright, 2 cars coming in. Gonna shoot at these queens. Queens say nice try, but we're throwing our darts at your face and the cars go away. Always looks so silly. Like they hardly do any damage to each other, but you still don't really want to take any damage at all on your cars, right? It kind of gets better the more cars you get. What is he playing? He's playing 6 car, single Viking. Okay. So pretty conservative opener here. It's not crazy like 8 cars, Viking Lip or something like that, or even 10 or 12 cars. Which is very uncommon, and it's also not 2 cars, which means that you get the barracks faster, right? Like the more cars you build, the later your barracks are basically going to be. That's the thing you always got to keep in mind, because the cars cost minerals, barracks cost minerals, and ogres have layers, like onions. So it's something you always got to kind of keep in mind. And whenever you see a lot of car production, it means that the barracks are going to be delayed. And that means that the first medevac push is going to be delayed. Because there's no use having 2 medevacs if you only have 3 Marines. So, Stim is being researched. You see the first tank is on the way as well. And I don't think these cars are going to go for a major dive in. He might try to get 1 shot off here. 2 shots off. And he's getting decent shots as well. Nice play by Percival, I have to admit it. Gets 3 worker kills. Viking on the high ground also helped out. Got 1 kill there himself. I'm still hearing Queens attack something. What did they kill? I think he just attacked one of his own creep tumors. I didn't see it disappear. I didn't see it getting attacked. But what else could it have been? It's either that or an overlord. You don't see units that die from your own units. I don't think they show up on the units lost. That's why I always deny my own nexuses. Actually, I think I've killed 2 motherships in tournament games of my own. Accidentally A-moving on my mothership. Dude, it's such a big unit though, it's really difficult to miss. So you accidentally click it. It's not funny. But it's also a little bit funny. I actually could remember what game. I think that would be pretty good. Oh, he's actually playing Linkbane, by the way. He's doing out of 6 gas. Probably Spire then? What? What is he doing? Okay. Overlord speed. So, Linkbane is insanely non-gas heavy, right? Because the majority of your units don't cost gas, which is gonna be the links. Which means you don't really need 6 gas for that. Like, unless he literally gets a pure Bane army, which... Okay, yeah, there we go. Mura. Yeah, it's a very late Spire, though. This bad boy's gonna get 1 more kill and then gonna get pushed back. Centrifugal Hooks is about to finish off as well, and... oh my god, he's just gonna jump on him. There's no shot. Absolutely no shot. Gets pushed back. Yeah, that's a lot of losses though there for him. Centrifugal Hooks is done right now. There's a lot of stims on these guys. There's no combat shield either. 1-1 is about to finish up. Work count is very low for Leenock, and even with this lower work count, he's still struggling to survive against a relatively simple push. Here comes the run by that I was talking about earlier. He's going to be able to take out these reinforcements that were just walking across the map like a headless chicken. Not great. This Ling run by is doing a lot though. It's actually doing quite a bit. 1-1 is about to finish up as well. It's gonna give these Lings a little more longevity, a little bit more damage output. I think these tanks are gonna go down as well. And I think Percival might have been a little bit too greedy. What looked like a perfect start for him ends up with him losing 20 SCVs against a very primitive run by, I would have to say. There were no Banelings involved. They didn't even have any upgrades. I mean, this was as primitive as it gets. I feel like Hellbats are gonna, or Hellions are gonna turn into Hellbats, are not going to get picked up. 1 gets picked up, and now Leenock will keep on the pressure. He's already building 5 more Mutalisks. He does not seem to have the larva to increase that Muta count. It's just gonna kill his opponent. This is the most Leenock game I love to see. This is great. Goes away for like 3.5 years, comes back, does the exact same builds that he used for exact same playstyle, and still just straight up wins. 14 mutas as the switch as well, and he's just up 60 supply. This is great to see. The old champion still has it. The champion of all. Takes out the armory as well. 2-2 hadn't started, which means that now 2-2 is not going to start for a long time. I mean, once these 14 mutalisks show up. I don't even think there's 14 marines. Okay, there's 16 marines. Yep, these are going to go down. There you go, buddy. It's a GG. He just needs to GG right now. Like, just get out. It's over. It's actually over. 9 minutes clean. Leenock does it in game number 1. We'll be heading into game number 2 in this best of 3 between Percival and Leenock, played in the All In All League. Alright, once again we got Mr. Leenock. Top left, Percival bottom right. This time it's going to be on Nightshade. Yeah, there comes my music in as well again. Beautiful, beautiful start. Very interesting game, that last one. Felt like Percival had that in the back, and a little bit of the greedy rally. This is why very often you see Terrans kind of rally towards their natural or towards that depot rather than straight across the map. It just doesn't make much sense. You can almost always just freely escape with all the units you send out, and the more units you rally, the harder it becomes to escape. Your rallies can get intercepted. It's just a risk that most Terrans don't want to take, only if they know there's no units on the map whatsoever from the Zerg, or they have a really strong feeling, will they send out their reinforcements, and usually in big chunks, so like 10 marines and a tank and a medevac, so you still have some escape with that as well. But yeah, Percival just straight up rallying, gets a couple of units caught, and then all of a sudden that it wasn't even that sizable of a run. It was legit like 20 links. They didn't have upgrades, just did a lot of damage. And you lose 16-17 workers like that while your push is getting cleaned up, and then the muta switch kicks in. Yeah, it's going to be an issue. Obviously, it's going to be an issue. So let's see if Percival has a better idea of what to do this time around. As so far the old dog is alive and kicking, and he's kicking out the new boy. Gonna see an SCV scout, which I don't mind. I mean, it's really not that major of an investment. It's a relative minor investment, and it always gets you some information. It's like, hey, just that hatchery first, that's big. You can even try to block the third base with it. Most of the time we don't see Terrans do that anymore, but it is of course always a possibility to do. Instead we just see it rallied up to immediately go back home. So the SCV is gonna hit the road and go home again. Long travel for a little bit of information, and we'll make it home alive, hopefully. Come back to his family and friends. I'm not sure if this guy's family and friends. Let's see what patch he's going to. You can always see if someone has family and friends, depending on what patch they go to. Only the people that are well liked get the close by patches. Oh, he's going back into the main base. He definitely has family and friends. If he would have been long distance mining from the natural, this guy would have been a true loner. Oh, he's even allowed to build things. This guy's a busy bee. Walks all the way instead of giving a little bit of rest. Immediately has to build a command center. Sick timing though. Pretty cool sequence with that SCV. I always like it with this type of stuff. Like, you know, rather than sending it back in, he knows that with these scout timings, he can rally the scout in such a way that it comes back here in time for his third CC. That's the sign of someone that really optimizes his build, you know, and just even if it doesn't matter too much, it's just cool to see. It's like these little tricks, and it's like, you know, the 16th SCV or whatever gets rallied to the gas. Just it's the little things that tend to make the difference. All these small things do add up over time. And you see this Reaper jumping up and down, not getting too much down, obviously. Doesn't have a single kill here. Similar to last game, and we're gonna be seeing Starport, 2 more cars. So maybe we're looking at a 6-car opener again. Second gas did go down in the natural, so I think this is just going to be Viking 6-car again. Possibility is there for double Starport unit 8-car. What is this? What is this? This is 3 gas and it's a road warren. Now, I am no ZVT expert, but if I see a road warren go down this early, and I see 3 gases go down this early, and I see 3 overlords in production this early, I can kind of figure it out from there, you know. I don't need full information. I look at this and I go, huh, this looks an awful lot like a roach all in. And that's exactly what's going to be. It's going to be 10, maybe 12. I feel like 12 is a nicer number of roaches. Like 10 is a pretty low, I don't know. It's not low enough, but also not high enough. You know, if I want a low number of roaches, I go for 7 or 8. If I want a high number, I go for 12. Just actually numbers based on nothing but my feeling, which also very important. That your feeling likes it. This guy's actually gonna poke in or what? Did he see that? There's no way he saw that. Oh, he did not see that. This Liberator is gonna spot it though. He sees the 6 roaches moving across the map. Hellions are now gonna go back home. Was only 4 Hellions. 2 bunkers go down immediately. 2 gases still going down as well. What do we have here for Percival? The answer is not a whole lot. This Liberator siege was huge. He's gonna be able to siege this ramp as well right now. He should siege the ramp. Oh, he's too slow. What an error. What a huge error. He could have definitely delayed those roaches or done a lot of free damage on those roaches. Bunkers are not finished yet. Liberator is gonna get the dodge off. Beautiful play here. 3 workers have gone down so far. This is a hold. An absolute hold out of Percival. Beautiful defense. Yeah, now Leenock's in a little bit of trouble. He's gonna get 3 more Ravagers. I'm gonna probably try to burst down these bunkers, but I mean, should be capable of doing just that, no? Hop! Gets the Liberator. It's not quite microing this Ravager, but it's also not being attacked, so I guess that's completely fine. Here come a couple of Ravager Biles. Actually, if this Banshee wouldn't have popped, I think this push might have still done a lot of damage. Because really, there's not that much in defense. Instantly sells both of these bunkers. Man, this guy he's not afraid. Hey, Eminem made a song about him, that's for sure. Holy crap. Just has a single bunker. It's like, okay, that's fine. Like, Doesn't give a crap about the links. If it was like 30 links, he could just lose all of these dudes. But there was only like 12 links, so that's kind of big. Percival's supply block at 69 out of 69. He's actually fallen behind rather significantly in supply, but... is there a bot actually? I'm not sure if there's a bot. Maybe he's just fallen behind significantly in supply. And I think maybe that's just where we leave that sentence. I mean, there is some potential here with a push, right? We can get double medevacs going. We have a tank out. We'll have 2 tanks out. We might get a position here, but these rocks are already being cleaned. 1-1 is on the way for both players same time. So drone count is being... It's just slightly ahead. He's gonna play Muta out of this. I don't know about that, but... And it's Leenock after all. Linkbane Muta is his jam. Anything with Linkbane is his jam. So most Zerg compositions really are his jam. He just has a lot of jams. And that's what these rocks really take out. I feel like these rocks are helpful for the Terran. What is this? Percival wanted to be an artist, accidentally got stuck as a Starfish player. What is this wall? Who told him to do this? Like, alright, listen to this, mate. These straight walls, not it anymore. We want pretty things to look at. I think I can do that. Why does he do this? It's not like it's randomly built either. It's like a pattern here. No, I mean, you do you. I'm not gonna blame you. I'm not gonna blame you. We have a couple of Marines popping in, moving forward right now. Gonna be dropping back down as well, though. So not gonna be able to do too much. Supplies are getting kind of even again, so perhaps it wasn't all too bad for Percival. Forward base is already going down for him. Oh, his second factory is kind of late, honestly, but should be fine. Centrifugal hooks is not done. I guess Leenock still has a lot of money in the bank, and he can build about 10 mutas now. That should put him ahead in supply by at least a little bit. He's struggling a little. No, he has plenty of larva. He's just not using it for whatever reason. Supply block. That's painful. That's really painful, actually. If you can get 11, 12 mutas out here, that would be huge. Oh my god, this is huge as well. None of these tanks are sieged up. There was 1 tank in the back. 2 tanks will get taken out for free. Very good trade here out of Leenock, who is once again looking in a pretty decent position. Now you get... This is the scary point for Terran. As long as Terran's on the map against Muta, it's kind of fine. But right now, Terran is in the territory where it could be getting pushed back in the next 10-15 seconds or so, and if that happens, these Mutalisks are going to take massive control of this game, alright? Just big control. What? Why is he not just engaging? Can't he just kill this? Guess not enough pains, no creep. Oh, I think he just could have cleared this though, still. There was nothing here. 2-2 is on the way for both players, first Tor is on the way as well. These Mutas are trying to pick off reinforcement lines, but it's not quite going to work, so instead they're just gonna pick off this Marauder and the 2 Marines, who kind of got stuck on the wrong side of, not of history, but of this... Why is there a fan over here? What is this thing fanning? It stopped! Do you see that? It stopped for a second. Oh, it's because it went in the dark space. Oh, okay. Oh, these guys are for... Isn't this supposed to be underwater? Light shade? Is it? No, no shot. It's above water. I really don't know what they do. Like, what's the point, you think, of having these things in? It's probably just to do that the map maker put in, but... Now I'm kind of curious about the lore. What is this? It's like a zealot? A locked up zealot. It's kind of messed up. Zergs and Terrans get to fight. This guy's locked up in his cell. At least he gets to survive. Wait, what was I looking at? Ah, right, Leenock's Mutas. He doesn't have too many, he only has 10 actually. He's already getting +2 and he's getting an infestation pit. He's going to be able to take out this tank with some nice snipes. He's losing a lot of creep though, and he doesn't really have the queen count, I believe, to go rebuild that creep. He has a single queen in his natural and he's rebuilding at least 1 more. Yep. Yeah, his Linkbane is not going to be able to do anything. 190 supply. I'm surprised we're not seeing an increased Muta count. This is such a weird way to play Linkbane Muta. Nowadays Linkbane Muta is all about increasing that Muta count and then flying around with 25-30 Mutalisk, but This is really old school. It's where you just get 10 mutas, kind of for drop control, making sure that you can take out drops, run-bys, like do a little bit of harassment, but not too much. Maybe pick up a reinforcement line here and there, but then just quickly tag into Hive and go for those ultras. This is a very old school style from an old school guy. It's something we don't really see very often anymore. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it does mean that it's most likely not great. He's having trouble keeping his creep as well, as we can see. Well, I'm not even sure if it's trouble keeping his creep. I feel like you're always gonna lose creep. The problem is he doesn't have the queen count to rebuild it. And that's a real issue here for Leenock. I actually do see that as a major issue. He's gonna clean this up. Wasn't quite brilliant though. Takes a lot of big hits on his mine. He definitely can't attack off creep. This is not going to be a fight that I would recommend you guys to take. He's gonna lose a lot of Banes, and I think he's also gonna lose a lot of money there. Let's take a look at the overall units lost. Down 3k at this point. But that fight was not great. I'm not quite sure if Percival should already be straight up rallying across the map though. Large part of his army consists of those Medivacs and those 2 Thors. Not the greatest unit when it comes to DPS to Ling Bane. So we see Leenock actually going in, and this fight I did like a little bit more. Pushes it back, takes out another mine as well, and as long as you keep the mine count kind of in control, you tend to be relatively okay. I'm so surprised he's investing this much and prioritizing these air upgrades when all he really has is 8 Mutalisks. Like, he's getting these Mutalisks, some of the sickest weaponry in the world. There's only 8 of them. Meanwhile, like, I feel like he could just be going into faster Ultra, or I don't think it's necessary. Like, he invested a lot. I think +1 would have just been fine if you're not planning on making 35 Mutalisks. Okay, if you had 35 Mutalisks, I'm like, yeah, let's go, man. +3, that's sick. But here, it's like, well, like, if I'm gonna build 1 carrier, do I really want to get +3 air weapons, you know? And maybe with 2 carriers. No, I also don't want it. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem that worth it. Interesting engagement here on the bottom. Saw it on the mini-map, just kind of ran in, and just a crap ton of units, honestly. Really did lose a crap ton of units. It was a terrible fight. Oh my god. I did not realize how bad this fight was, but all of a sudden he's just down a bunch in supply. Struggling to keep larva coming in as well. A bunch of money saved up. Really, his queen count is just very low, and whenever he wants to put a tumor down, he just misses an inject somewhere because he just doesn't have enough queens. He has basically as many queens as bases, +1. We have a big run by. Well, these guys run by in the natural. This time there's a couple of units there for Percival, so not the same thing as in game 1 is going to happen here. I say that, but Adrenal completes. Good tank shot taking out these Banelings, and these 7 Lings are going to actually wreak some havoc into that 3rd base. We have a lot of Thors here, which aren't all that useful, as there's at this point probably more Thors than Mutalisks. 4 Thors, 5 Thors against 6 Mutalisks. He's gonna save the Thors for now. I'm not quite sure how great these guys are. There's a bunch of Marauders being added in as well. Leenock's actually gonna go for a push. Now, off-creep pushes are not really a thing. So this is not, this is not gonna be it, you know. I mean, I understand Leenock's not in the greatest position. He sees his creep quickly disappearing. He's not taking winning fights, but attacking off creep feels more like a death sentence rather than a desperation. It's not even really a desperation play anymore. These lips are putting in some big work here, by the way. As all the upgrades do end up finishing up here for Leenock. Leenock falls below 170 supply, struggles to get it back up. And this is the weirdest run by I've seen in my life. 2 mines, 2 Thors, and 7 Marines walk into a bar. And right now Leenock has no counter. Poof. Dolls are not gonna hit anything. All of these trades, even though they do... Oh my god, 15 workers went down somewhere. I have no clue where. Do I care? I actually do kind of care, but I can't find it. Probably was... Where was that? Natural? Okay, maybe it was over here. I missed it. What I was gonna say is all of these trades have been going really poor for Leenock. Like, these trades would have been fine if he's actively denying a potential 5th base, and if he's on 70... No, if he's on 82 workers. Something like that, you know? However, Leenock is on 61 workers. He's never gonna deny another base in his life. and he's down 30 supply. Like, this is just looking poor. Like, extremely poor even. He's on 5 base against 5 base Terran. This run by is big though. This is a massive run by. He's only going for the depots for now. Should probably be going for this base. I'm not quite sure why he isn't. Big part of the army is being sent back right here. He has like a semi-base tradey scenario. He should have been going here. Okay, there's a couple of links going in there right now. A lot of links, or a lot of SCVs are going down. The links did a great job here, actually kind of evening up the supply. 43 workers for Percival. But this is looking very cheeky, very close all of a sudden. 21 workers did go down. Another Fungal tries to hit his own changelings. Like, wait a second, these guys belong to me. These 2 floors are going to get saved, and they survive. Man, these links did so much freaking damage. Mines, all on the Ultralis. Not going to do the damage that they wanted to. Probably should have retargeted those on the... Is Leenock actually doing it with another run by? Well, just 2-3 run bys in a row and just got a crap ton of workers. What is the orbital? If we have like 4 or 5 orbitals, it might be okay. We're on 3 orbitals. Okay, well, that's not brilliant. He does have a complete mining base, which is nice. He has another command center on the way here. There's going to be a 4th orbital here. This could be a 5th orbital, which all of these things will help. You know, muling helps. Ooh. Also, let's not forget that the army size for Percival is actually looking rather healthy. This base is going to get evacuated from. And the drone count for Leenock is still looking pathetic. So, perhaps at the end of the day, this is all possible and it's still playable. There is a single infestor here with this army, which is doesn't have enough energy to cast anything. This is just, he has everything in one control group. The infestor was just walking there to be part of the surround as well, which is kind of sad to see. But you know, that's life. Is this life? Oh, that is doing so much damage. Oh my god, these +3 upgrades actually putting in some work now, and all of a sudden I'm a fan. I'm the type of guy that looks who won the league and then I'll cheer for them, you know, afterwards. The hindsight supporter. They're like, oh, what a great move. I love that team. After they won. Big Burrow here is going to be able to spot whether that base is going to go down. Right now it's 5 base against, well, whatever this is. 5. And he has more drones long distance mining than on any of the close by bases. This is hilarious. This drone split is awful here. He has 16 on an oversaturated base. He has 2 over here. He has 8 over here. Then he has like 12 or, well, probably like with the gas, probably like 15 workers just long distance mining. He's missing a lot of income here. About 400 or 500 minerals, I think. That's kind of a big deal. That's actually a really big deal. He should be rebuilding some of the drones every now and then. Just sprinkle them back in, but it doesn't really seem like he wants to be doing that. We have like a split attack here. Ultra kind of got stuck behind a wall. I'm not sure how that happens. Ultras are good at dealing with these small task forces usually, but there's a lot of marauders here. Like if this is like 60 marines, one ultra is gonna take care, but like with 7-8 marauders, yeah, that's gonna suck. This base is just gonna go down immediately. Good scan out of Percival is gonna just pick up, fly away. He wants to get away. Oh my god, mines are doing so much damage. Yeah, this is actually it. I don't think there's anything that Leenock has right now that can... Oh, that's a missed move, man. It's just gonna move across the map. Yeah, okay, this is not it. He has like 3.5 ultra left, and he's gonna be playing against the 6 base Terran. Possibly even a 7 base Terran, if he decides to fly that command center that he has in the natural over as well. I don't know, guys. This is not it for Leenock. Tried his best. This is pretty freaking over. 58 workers against 53. There's 3 ultras against 17. Now 18 marauders. There's enough mines to kill these all these links, these banelings, and even do a bunch of damage on these ultralisks as well. So. Yeah, this is just not going to be it. 191 supply against 123. Leenock decides, I think he's like a bit of an idiot for not leaving yet. Hello, Leenock. There we go, GG. As Percival moves forward, ties up the series, and we'll be going into game number 3. Alright, final game of this best of 3. Unless it's a draw, then there will be a 4th game. If that one's a draw. So technically we could have an infinite amount of games, but most likely it's just going to be this one. And then we're going to be done. Okay, why can't I zoom? There we go. Yeah, it's going to be Percival. I wonder what this is. Did he just steal the Team Liquid logo? And give it a horn? Oh, it's a unicorn now. Or it's like a chess piece. Or like a chess piece, maybe. Maybe the guy who made NV is a big fan of chess. I don't know. Then on the other hand we have Leenock. I wonder what this means. I bet one of you guys in the what do you call it? In the comments speaks Korean. What does the word mean in front of Leenock's name? Maybe it's his own name again. That'd be pretty cool. I would like that. I'm curious to see what we're gonna see this game. Don't forget that last game started with a roach all in. Ended in a very... I'm just so surprised, okay? I'm just gonna go back to it one more time. The use of the Mutalisk as a harassing tool, I feel like wasn't really used last game because he just didn't get the numbers. Like, I feel like that's the power of the Mutalisk, is that you can force your opponent to keep units at home and force your opponent to chase your Mutalisk for like an hour straight, basically, while you're, you know, while you're doing damage here and there and you're denying 5th base. Like, that's usually the biggest thing, is when you're playing Mutalisk, you can deny 5th bases, like your life depends on it. Like, that's such a big moment. You can constantly be pushing that, and it felt like Leenock just had a completely different plan. He used the Mutalisk more as a way of saying, hey, I'm not gonna die to drops, I don't like losing to harass, but then why do you get the fast +3? And also, why do you get Mutas, honestly? Like, nowadays I feel like Zergs have gotten so good at just defending these things with Lingbane Queen, and then you all of a sudden have Lurkers with that arm, you know? You can play Lingbane Queen into Lurker, and you have way more possibilities of attacks, and the actual defense once your Lurkers is out is way more stable than Mutalisk are. Like, the Mutalisk is not a good defensive unit. It's not a good fighting unit. The Mutalisks are good when there's many of them and there's very little of the others. They're like the ultimate bullies, you know? They only go at it when they're with their friends. With a one-on-one, they'll just pretend like they didn't see you, you know? They walk by. But when they're with their friends, they're dangerous, especially if you're alone. Like, they'll pick you off, but otherwise there's absolutely no way. Like, that's kind of the entire point of the Mutalisk. This is why also only Zerg players have Mutalisk. It's a unit that really fits with just the general lifestyle of a Zerg player. You know, just being annoying, taking people's lunch money, or in this case, my tournament money. It feels unfair. You know, it's a lot of parallels you can draw between bullies and Zerg players. I'm not saying that all Zerg players are bullies, but I'd say that the majority of Zerg players at some point in their life might have been bullies. Have been bullies. I think it's fair to say. What else was I going to say? Ah, look at that. 4 cars, Viking, Tech Lab. This is looking like a standard game to me. You love to see it. We're not going to be seeing any gases extra come down. This is a fast fact, by the way. Okay, if you're a Terran player and you're wondering how do I know these things, like when all in is, the more gas your opponent takes, the higher likelihood of an all-in, okay? As a Zerg player, you want to get gas the latest as possible. The later you have gas, the better it is for you. The better it is for you, the more likely that you win. The more likely that you win, well, etc, etc. You know, you can keep going forever, but just if you want to improve your life, just figure out whether your opponent is getting gas or not. It's a big supply block, by the way. 69 out of 66. It's kind of painful. I wouldn't want to be Leenock. He's going to lose another Overlord. He's going to be flying into another supply block afterwards. Okay, now I'm building 3 more. It's kind of cringe, honestly. Okay, 6 Hellions. We have what? 3 Barak as well. eBay. It's looking very, very solid. And nothing weird going on here. I'm not surprised, okay? I look at this game and I think to myself, this is a nice game. This is a game where we won't be talking about it in a couple of years, but after watching this game, you'll be like, nah, a satisfying watch, you know? Nothing too crazy. But yeah, it's not the game you tell your friends about, you know? The guy that likes games, you know, we all have him, like a friend that likes games, but doesn't like StarCraft, and you're just waiting for that game to introduce him to StarCraft with. First of all, I'd recommend not showing him anything from my channel, but this would not be the game. You know, you're not gonna like, this is an epic game. It's like, well, it just seems like this guy is riding around with cars. I'm like, oh yeah, he's kind of is riding around just with cars. And not much is happening right now. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. There's very loud rain happening right now. If you can hear that, my apologies. If you can't hear it, then I just gave you valuable information in doxing me. Figure out when it rained. To be fair, you don't know what time the recording is, so it might be very tricky. But maybe some of you guys can figure it out. Very exciting. 5 Hellions. Still haven't really achieved much, except killed 3 creep tumors. Killing a creep tumor as a Hellion is kind of like finishing high school. Sure, people will congratulate you, but it's also kind of expected, you know? It's like, it's not the big thing, you know? If you get 50 drones, that's basically like after you finish high school, that then the principal comes up to you and says, congratulations sir, this high school now belongs to you. You're so smart. I feel like it's like a different level, you know? Definitely a different level. Interesting push here coming out of Percival. This is doing a lot of damage by the way. Well, every single time I say something, Percival just decides to stop microing for a couple of seconds. Which generally I'm not a big fan of. I think microing is good to do consistently over a longer period of time. The worker count for Leenock is very small, and the reason for that is because he went into 10 Mutalis. Usually you'd probably go into... Oh my god, he did that without Banes? That was ballsy. He realized as well how ballsy that was. Yeah, that's ballsy. Oh, that's not a great start of the fight, but it ends up okay once again. Still a single mine there. It's gonna hit a couple of links. Leenock is just pushing this back once again, by the way. Where are these mutas going? Mutalisk man. Yeah, I mean the creep is just not looking too strong, and there's a lot of freaking money in the bank right now. We don't have the larva available to spend it. Once again a supply block, 5 overlords being built at once. This is honestly kind of painful at this point. This is like the 3rd or 4th time we're getting a supply block this game. 2-2 can't even start. Well, it actually can start. He almost has money for it. At least one of the upgrades can start. 7 overlords in production. So he's like, you know what? At least I'm not going to get supply block anymore. It's going to go straight up to, what is it going to be, like 184 or so? 182, I guess. He's going to be able to semi-clean this up. Still has a lot of money in the bank. He's playing very sloppy today, mechanics-wise. Maybe, I'm not quite sure how long he's been back. I have to admit, I saw his name the other day in like a tournament qualifier, GSL Super Tournament, I think. And I was like, huh, he's back. But, I mean, maybe he needs some time to get his mechanics completely back, you know? It's just... like, a lot of the decisions and the unit movement has been good, but the mechanics definitely are lacking a little bit. I mean, he's not looking too hot right here. We're not seeing any target fire on individual Banes. I think we might have seen it just there. There's a couple of Banes coming out of their morphing phase. We'll be able to move forward. But I actually think that Percival might just be straight up winning here, as a couple new mines show up as well. 2-2 is about to finish up. +2 carapace is not even halfway done here for Leenock. So there's going to be a very long period in time where these marines do way too much damage. Yeah, this is just it. Banelings disappear in front of our eyes. There's 4 more Banelings being, 9 more Banelings being morphed in. 5 on the left, 4 on the right. Try to go for a sandwich. But my man Percival didn't sign up for a Baneling sandwich. He ordered the Texaco guacamole chicken. Big sandwich. Oof. No active mines currently on the map, but once these bad boys are coming back, I think Leenock is going to be in some major trouble. The moment you don't have any Banelings against Marines, you are going to be in trouble. Because Ling against Marine does not trade well. The last Muta just disappeared. GG gets called as Percival wins the series 2-1, takes out the old champion, and becomes the... No, just kidding. This is like the first round of the tournament, so tough luck. Thanks everyone for watching. If you did enjoy, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. hit the like button as well, and hopefully I'll see you all next time for a new fantastic video. Bye bye.